James Maxwell, Dr. Ginger, Hamster, TwitterMinds.com. Single motherhood is a choice. It is a conscious decision by the woman involved to have a baby in the current year in the United States. Now, things weren't always like that, right? 100 years ago, things are a little different, but it's not 100 years ago. Since 1972, we've had legal nationwide abortion. We've had birth control pills since the 1960s. We've had rubbers since antiquity. There have been methods of preventing contraception for thousands of years. Up until very recently, it was mostly a male thing, and I understand that. That I would be pissed too if I were a woman. Well, it's men. I don't have any choice. You're right. You're right. Absolutely right. You, today, 2017, you have every choice in the freaking world for birth control, for abortion, for the morning after pill, for all of this other stuff that can prevent you from having a baby. And yet, I'm looking at statistics in front of me, in 2017, 39.7% of babies were born to unmarried women. Isn't that interesting? Before the pill, back in 1960, that number was 5.3%. 1 out of 20. Now it's, almost 1 out of 2 children are born out of wedlock to unmarried women. Well, James, what do you know? You're a fucking Nazi. Of course I'm a Nazi. I mean, come on. I'm tall, Aryan, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, except I'm not. Now, call me a Nazi if it makes you feel better. You Nazi. Stefan Molyneux is a Nazi. That's right. Crouten T, Nazi. Abso-freaking-lutely a Nazi. We're all Nazis because we're all white men. So, whatever makes you feel good. Hey, yeah, I'm a Nazi. Sure, whatever. Whatever you like. I'm a racist, homophobe, sexist, xenophobe. Sure. Hey, if it makes you feel good. I mean, if it helps the facts go down a little bit easier, call me whatever you want. So how can you explain, do a little thought experiment, 40% of children born out of wedlock in the United States with 18 or more forms of birth control mandated to be covered by Obamacare, which is still currently the law. And a man can use a rubber as well, so that increases your chance of getting pregnant to 1 in 9,000. Oh, or decreases, rather. You know what I mean? I'm a Nazi. I'm sorry. Let me put down my copy of Mein Kampf, because, I got to do this video. So can you explain to me why that would be? With all the birth control available and all of this, I know exactly what you're going to say, ladies. What about women who are raped and get pregnant? You're right. That is a horrible. So, I mean, it's like a double horrible situation. Of course, the assault and then the pregnancy. I mean, it's terrible. It's a horrible thing. So what can we do about that? There's a morning after pill. So you can take that and, get rid of the trauma there. At least, the pregnancy. You can have an abortion. You can have the baby and drop it off at a fire station. No questions asked. Now, for the 99.9% of the other births that are not criminally related, why is this going on? Is it, I don't need no man? Maybe, you needed him for something, I guess. But I don't need no man. I need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Is that right? What about divorce, James? What about that? Well, yeah, people get divorced. What about people who are widowed? Husband died. Yeah. But I think what we're talking about here is women who are not married having babies. Why? Why would you do this? I mean, could there be some incentive somewhere in this country that would, if not outright encourage this behavior, certainly supports this kind of behavior? And I know people are going to say, but James, you can't force me to get married. Just let me explain, please. Please, if you would. We have a bunch of incentives currently in our federal government that actually encourage this behavior. I mean, imagine this, back in 1960, before the birth control pill, before there was a generous and all-consuming welfare state for women, what choices would you have to make in order to have sex? Well, you'd have to make the guy wear a condom. Women didn't have a choice back then. Didn't have a choice. That's wrong. I agree completely. Now women do. But back in 1960, you didn't. So what did you have to do? Well, typically, it was the women in the family and the men, but mostly the women. They would say, you've got yourself in a problem here. You will get married. And they called it a shotgun wedding for a reason. Dad wasn't too happy about this. So that was 5%, 1 out of 20 births were unmarried. It would have been a lot more, probably, but the shotgun wedding business and the slut shaming and the female domination of the reproduction and marriage and dating and all of that stuff kind of went away. So would it be fair to say that 40% of children would have been born out of wedlock back in 1960? Maybe. We don't know. It's certainly possible, right? There could have been a lot of fucking going on, a lot of sexing going on, yeah. But what would happen is they'd sit down and have a long talk with the young man and say, you shall marry this woman and, whatever, make her, whatever they used to say a long time ago. But today, all the choice rests in the female, reproductive-wise. You can do anything you want. Like I said, abortion pills, morning after pill, adoption, give it up at the fire station. You could choose not to have sex. I mean, there is that, I know. Such a crazy idea. And you can insist the man wear a condom. There are a lot of different things. Yet, we're at 40% of children born out of wedlock to unmarried mothers. Can you think of anything else maybe that might be incentivizing this behavior? Perhaps back in 1960, the only option for a woman was to have the baby, go away for a few months and come back. Oh, yeah, she was on vacation. No, don't worry about it. Or get married. Because there was no government there trying to pretend to be the husband, giving you a big handfuls of free cheese and EBT cards and free rent and free this and free that. Today, obviously, it's a little different, isn't it? Now, it has something to do with the vote buying, of course. You're not going to piss off 51% of the population. Politicians are nothing but whores in nice suits. We've talked about it already. Let's just say, just for argument's sake, that I, James the hamster, I went down to the Mercedes dealer in, Mercedes is nothing. Something really expensive, BMW, whatever, big fancy car. And I said, you know what? I really want that car. I want it. I want it now. And so I write out a check for $150,000 to get this, Lamborghini or whatever. It's like, I want this car. It's my choice to have this car. So I take the car home, and a month later I realize I can't afford the fucking payments. Somebody needs to come and rescue me because I made a stupid choice. I didn't have to choose to buy a Lamborghini, did I? I could have chosen a Chevy or a Ford or, something more reasonable, something that would make more sense. There's no government program out there that says, you know what, James, if you buy too much car, we're going to come and pay for it for you. Because it's your choice. It's your free will. Just vote for me. There's nothing like that, is there? It's my choice. And it's my responsibility. In the current climate in the United States, ladies, it's definitely your choice. It's that little bit of responsibility part you don't want to deal with. Now, if you want to have a baby by yourself and you can afford it, you're not on welfare, that's up to you. It's none of my business. I don't care. But if you're sitting there having babies, already living in Section 8 housing and getting all kinds of free shit from the government, when you could use birth control or get an abortion or give the kid up for adoption, you see, you're being incentivized to have more children, aren't you? It's still your choice what to do, but you choose to have the child when you know the child is going to cost you more money. No, see, it'll cost me as the taxpayer more money. So when we see all these single mothers are heroic, bullshit. Bullshit. You made the choice to be a single mother. So how is that heroic? Please explain that to me. James Maxwell, thanks for listening.